In the days when the judges ruled, there was a famine in the land. So a man from Bethlehem and Judah, together with his wife and 2 sons, went to live for a while in the country of Moab. The man's name was Elimelech. His wife's name was Naomi, and the names of his 2 sons were Mahlon and Chilion. They were Ephrathites from Bethlehem, Judah, and they went to Moab and lived there. Naomi's 2 sons married Moabite women, one named Orpah and the other Ruth. And then Naomi heard that the Lord had provided food for his people. The famine was over. Then Naomi and her daughters-in-law prepared for the long journey back to Bethlehem, Judah. They had barely set out on the road when Naomi turned to her daughters-in-law and said, "Go back, each of you, to your mother's home. May the Lord show you kindness as you have shown kindness to your dead husbands and to me. May the Lord grant that each of you find rest in the home of another husband." Then she kissed them goodbye, and they wept aloud and said to her, "We will go back with you to your people." And Naomi said, "Return home. Why would you come with me?" After more pleading and resisting, Naomi said, "No, my daughters, it is more bitter for me than for you, because the Lord's hand has turned against me." At this, they wept aloud again, and then Orpah kissed her mother-in-law goodbye. But Ruth clung to her. Naomi tried one more time. "Your sister-in-law has gone back to her people and her gods. Go back with her." But Ruth said, "Don't urge me to leave you or to turn back from you. Where you go, I will go, and where you stay, I will stay. Your people will be my people, and your God my God. Where you die, I will die, and there I will be buried. May the Lord deal with me, be it ever so severely, even if death separates you and me." And Naomi realized that Ruth was determined to go with her, and she stopped urging her. So the 2 women went on until they came to Bethlehem. When they arrived in Bethlehem, the whole town was stirred because of them, and the women exclaimed, "Can this be Naomi?" "Don't call me Naomi," she told them. "Call me Mara, because the Almighty has made my life very bitter. I went away full, but the Lord has brought me back empty. Why call me Naomi? The Lord has afflicted me. The Almighty has brought misfortune upon me." So Naomi returned from Moab, accompanied by Ruth the Moabitess, her daughter-in-law, arriving in Bethlehem as the barley harvest was beginning. And Ruth said, "Let me go to the fields and pick up the leftover grain behind anyone in whose eyes I find favor." And Naomi told her to go ahead. So Boaz goes to Ruth and greets her, welcomes her, lets her know that she is safe, working along with the women that follow the men that are harvesting, and that none of the men will lay a hand on her in his field. He asks her to continue to work in her field, so she is protected. She's overwhelmed, she's overcome, and she bows down to him on the ground and asks why she has found such favor in his eyes, because she's a foreigner. I've been told all about what you have done for your mother-in-law since the death of your husband, how you left your father and mother and your homeland and came to live with a people that you did not know before. Boaz was, in fact, so impressed with Ruth that he blessed her. May the Lord repay you for what you have done. May you be richly rewarded by the Lord, the God of Israel, under whose wings you have come to take refuge. Surprised, pleased, and relieved, Ruth responded, "May I continue to find favor in your eyes, my lord," she said. "You have put me at ease by speaking kindly to your servant, though I do not have the standing of one of your servants." At mealtime, Boaz said to her, "Come over here, have some bread, and dip it in the wine vinegar." And when she sat down with the harvesters, he offered her some roasted grain. She ate all she wanted and had some left over. As she got up to glean, Boaz gave orders to his men, "Let her gather among the sheaves and do not reprimand her. Even pull some stalks out for her from the bundles and leave them for her to pick up. Do not rebuke her." And so it was that Ruth gleaned in the field until evening, and then she threshed the barley she had gathered, and it amounted to about 30 pounds. And then Naomi asks Ruth, "Where did you glean today? Where did you work? Blessed be the man who took notice of you." Then Ruth told her mother-in-law about the one whose place she had been working at. "The name of the man whose field I worked in today is named Boaz." "The Lord bless him," Naomi said to her daughter-in-law. "He has not stopped showing his kindness to the living and the dead." She said, "This man is our close relative. He is one of our guardian redeemers." So one day, Naomi said to Ruth, "My daughter, I must find a home for you where you will be well provided for. Now, Boaz, with whose women you have worked, is a relative of ours. Tonight he will be winnowing barley on the threshing floor. Wash, put on perfume, and get dressed in your best clothes. Then go down to the threshing floor, and don't let him know that you are there until he's finished eating and drinking. And when he lies down, note the place where he is lying. Then go and uncover his feet and lie down. He will tell you what to do." When something happens and it looks questionable, first thing we need to do is make sure that we know the character of the people involved in the story. When we understand the character of the people in the story, then we understand the direction of the story, and we have a better idea of what happened and what did not. When Boaz had finished eating and drinking and was satisfied, he went over to lie down at the far end of the grain pile. Ruth approached quietly and uncovered his feet and lay down. In the middle of the night, something startled the man. He turned, and there was a woman lying at his feet. "Who are you?" he asked. "I am your servant Ruth," she said. "Spread the corner of your garment over me, since you are a guardian redeemer of our family." The Lord bless you. This kindness is greater than that which you showed earlier. You have not run after the younger men, whether rich or poor. And now, my daughter, do not be afraid. I will do for you all that you ask. All the people of my town know that you are a woman of noble character. While it is true that I am a guardian redeemer of our family, there is one who is closer in line than I. Stay here for the night, and in the morning, if he wants to do his duty as your guardian redeemer, good, let him redeem you. But if he is not willing, as surely as the Lord lives, I will do it. Lie here until morning. So Ruth slept at his feet until morning, but got up before anyone could be recognized, and he said no one must know that a woman came to the threshing floor. And he also told her to bring her shawl and hold it out, and when she did, he poured into it 6 measures of barley and placed the bundle on her, and then he went back to town. So Ruth returns to her mother-in-law, Naomi, and gives her the grain and told her everything that Boaz had said. She said, he gave me these 6 measures of barley, so I didn't return to you empty-handed. Naomi said, "You just wait, my daughter, until you find out what happens, for the man will not rest until the matter is settled today." So Abraham and Lot part ways. Abraham allows Lot to choose the choicest land, the easier living, because he loves him. Lot gets raided. Abraham rescues him. But the valley has 2 cities, Sodom and Gomorrah, and these cities are filled with people that are evil and selfish. God plans to destroy Sodom and Gomorrah and all of the inhabitants of those cities because they are a blot on the earth. Abraham speaks up for Lot and his family and cries out to God to save even them. Angels come to the city and they're going to sleep in the square. Lot insists that they stay at his place. The Lord examines the righteous, but the wicked who love violence he hates with a passion. Psalm 11:5. The angels warn Lot to flee. His sons-in-law will not listen to him. They think it's a joke. Lot and his daughters and his wife run toward the hills. They are told not to look back. Lot's wife looks back and becomes a pillar of salt. Disobedience always has consequence. Hiding in a cave, Lot and his 2 daughters are safe. Lot's daughters inherit their father's sense of fear that he lives out of, and they decide in their fear that their family name must go on, and it's up to them to do something about it. They get their father drunk, and they both conceive and give birth to sons as a result. The sons were named Moab and Ben-Ami, and both of these sons would be fathers of nations one day. Moab, the father of the Moabites, and Ben-Ami, the father of the Amorites. These two people groups would be at odds with each other for many, many years. Lot's family was defined by fear, not by faith. That is the contrast between his family and Abraham's family. Their fear created two cultures that were at odds, and God brought them back into his story for the good of the whole world. He redeemed them. Boaz went to the city gate and waited, and sure enough, the other relative, the closer guardian redeemer, came along. Boaz invited this relative as well as 10 of the elders to come and sit with him as they had something to discuss. They all agreed. Boaz continued, and he said, Naomi, who has come back from Moab, is selling the piece of land that belonged to our relative Elimelech. I thought I should bring the matter to your attention and suggest that you buy it in the presence of these seated here and in the presence of the elders of my people. If you will redeem it, do so. If you will not, tell me, so I will know. For no one has the right to do it except you, and I am next in line. I will do it. I will redeem it, the man said. And then Boaz said, okay, on the day that you buy the land from Naomi, you also acquire Ruth, the Moabite, the dead man's widow, in order to maintain the name of the dead with his property. At this, the guardian redeemer said, oh no, then I cannot. I cannot redeem it because I might endanger my own estate. You redeem it yourself. I cannot do it. And he lifted his sandal and gave it to Boaz. And this was the way that they legalized their transaction in front of the witnesses. Then Boaz announced to the elders and all the people, today you are witnesses that I have bought from Naomi all the property of Elimelech, Kilion, and Mahlon. I have also acquired Ruth, the Moabitess, Mahlon's widow, as my wife, in order to maintain the name of the dead with his property, so that his name will not disappear from among his family or from his hometown. Today you are my witnesses. And so it was with the blessing of the elders and Naomi that Boaz took Ruth as his wife. The Lord blessed Ruth. He enabled her to conceive, and she gave birth to a son. The women said to Naomi, praise be to the Lord, who this day has not left you without a guardian redeemer. May he become famous throughout Israel. He will renew your life and sustain you in your old age. For your daughter-in-law, who loves you and who is better to you than 7 sons, has given him birth. Then Naomi took the child in her arms and cared for him. The women living there said, Naomi has a son, and they named him Obed. And he was the father of Jesse, the father of David.
So here's what I would like you to see, is that it was love that broke through and broke the power of sin and darkness in Naomi's life. Ruth, and then Boaz, and then Obed. These were blessings that God gave that lifted Naomi back up and rescued her. In preparing for this teaching, I took some strings, different strings, and the strings represented lives and plans, and each string was different, and I started weaving them together, over and under and around, and I came up with this. It's a small work of art. Naomi's life didn't turn out how she thought it would, and I'm sure Ruth's either, or Boaz's. But they each came to a point where they chose to trust God. It makes good sense that the God who got everything started and keeps everything going now completes the work by making salvation's champion perfect through suffering as he leads all these people to glory. Since the one who saves and those who are saved have a common origin, Jesus doesn't hesitate to treat them as family, saying, "I'll tell my good friends, my brothers and sisters, all I know about you. I'll join them in worship and praise to you." Again, he puts himself in the family circle when he says, "Even I live by placing my trust in God." And yet again, I'm here with the children God gave me. Since the children are made of flesh and blood, it's logical that the Savior took on flesh and blood in order to rescue them through his death. By embracing death, taking it into himself, he destroyed the devil's hold on death and freed all who cower through life scared to death of death. It's obvious, of course, that he didn't go to all this trouble for angels. It was for people like us, children of Abraham. That's why he had to enter into every detail of human life. And then, when he came before God as the high priest to get rid of people's sins, he would have already experienced it all himself, all the pain, all the testing, and would be able to help where help was needed. Jesus is our guardian redeemer, our kinsman redeemer, and he has come to break the power of everything that stops us from living